I've just made the first video after my trip to renovate Sara of North Wales, and it's rendering now on the computer, and I've just realised that I'm so used to thinking of it Sara of North Wales because I've got the name stuck on it and everything now, and we talk about Sara of North Wales, we use the word, whereas before we used to talk about Tinkerbelle, so I was quite surprised to see I'm hearing talk about Tinkerbelle in this video. It's actually Sara of North Wales now. So Tinkerbelle, and it also says I was thinking of calling it Morgan Le Fay, which was the name on the steering wheel. So we only really knew it was going to be called Sara of North Wales when I actually ordered the name on eBay, as you'll see, I think, coming up. I have my AIS system over here. I don't know if you can see this in the corner here. But I managed to pick this up on eBay. There was only one of them for sale for about £50, 40 something I think it was. So that's a bit of a luck really, because they're hard to find. Even the new ones are hard to find. This is a wireless AIS system. So I'm taking that up with me to this new 26-foot Macwester. So I'll wire it up to that, and I'm coming down. So I've got AIS together with the Navionics there. I should be a bit more organised this time. Oh. Very nice hummus and bread. If you have the teeth for it, it's nice. I don't know what's coming up on these videos. It's just whenever I filmed whilst I was working on Sara, and so it's a bit of a smorgasbord. And in the end I stopped filming entirely, and so it's, you get what you get, and hopefully you enjoy watching it. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel, which has very few watchers at the moment. Yet I have hopes that one day people will find this stuff and find it interesting when, well, at least it's a record, if you like, of what work has been carried out. And the next owner will probably enjoy watching these videos, and the owner after that, and the owner after that. So hopefully it's a kind of a record of what's happened to this boat, and maybe it will inspire future owners to look after this boat, which is a lovely little boat, Sara of North Wales. See, we're not far from T.S. Britta here, on the other side. I'll just take us around. Sara of North Wales has now been named officially. Was Tinkerbelle, now it's Sara of North Wales. All the top sides have been painted, they've still got to do the bottom again. There's a bit of a fiberglass repair down here. See a little bit of it sticking out there. Got to put the patch on the bottom. Paint's looking good. Made a bit of a mistake sticking the North Wales on at the back. That was my first attempt, but I quite like it the way it's come all curvy like on the back here. Quite like that. The outboard's going to be sort of in the way, so that's why I made it a bit different there. It's getting there. Still got the bow rails. you can see the way it's going to work is where the rope is. It's going to go to the front of the boat and stop there, and then the back rail is going to go to the cabin top, and so you're going to be able to unhook it and also just step over it, walk on the edge there. Just have to hold onto the safety rail so you don't fall in. Your feet will no longer get tangled up, and the dinghy is now mounted very securely on the front there. You can see the rope securing it, and the rings, 2 rings that I found, very nice rings to lash it on. Also it could be used for other purposes, and the line that runs along there is a safety line. It extends the safety line, something to hang on to all the way along there. So it's getting there. There's a bit missing from the hatch there, so I have some ideas about fixing that up using a bit of flooring. I'll show you the flooring. There you can see the deck grip, it's called. It's quite comfortable on the feet. I don't know how long it'll last. It seems to be quite, braids quite easily and damages quite easily. It's quite soft, but it is comfortable and it does the job. I think it was £30 for enough to do that bit there, so it was probably the most economical way of doing it. I'm still working on the hatch cover there, varnishing it. One side's been done, the other side hasn't, and now I wait for stuff from eBay. This is a trouble buying stuff on eBay. You don't know when you're going to get it. There's a steering binnacle in place there. We managed to get the rope to run it from Aldi. They had it the other day for a very low price. So I got a couple of 20-meter sections, or 40 meters of rope. And you'll see as we go in here, the table is there. We can just about step around the table into the sunken lounge, and yeah, it's all working. New carpet, just put that in yesterday, and it's very nice underfoot too. All been varnished now, and yeah, still a bit of a mess in here. We're going to cook some lunch now, so we'll do that. Here we are in the sunken lounge. Here's our sliding table, position number 2. Very careful not to do anything strong on the edge because it can come off and damage your toe, I found out. So it's alright when you put things at the back. You don't want heavy objects pushed on it. Alright, and you'll see that we have windy running up here, and it looks like it's a good 20 and 30 knots out to Douglas on the Isle of Man, which is where I'm hoping to go on my first trip to check out the systems. I've discovered that Douglas in the Isle of Man is a good place if you want to get anything fixed. So if anything breaks on the way, any mechanical work needs to be done on the engine, anything like that, you can get proper people who can do this kind of stuff on Douglas the Isle of Man, which is still a more traditional place than these places here that aren't really geared up for looking after people who are looking after boats. They're looking after themselves really, and we are just grist for their mill really. As I've discovered, trying to get somebody who was supposed to be my friend to help me with a bit of welding, and it's basically 50 quid isn't enough kind of thing, and so I've decided that I have to do everything myself. I was hoping that they could help me. He's a younger man than I, and he has no problem with fiberglass. I was hoping that he could help me with the fiberglass repair, if I got all the stuff and ground it and got it ready, and he could just slap on the fiberglass, and you know, it's only probably no more than 20-minute job just to wet out some glass and stick it on. That's all. Dab it a bit, get the air bubbles out, and that's the job done. And I offered £50 to do that, and to spot, and he was offering to spot weld something for me, which is another quarter of an hour job. And he's driving a £50,000 truck and a fancy boat, you know, and it's because he's overcharging people. It's basically what it is, and that seems to be the way. Well, I always, one of my previous boats, I had a very bad experience using people to do work for me. I was earning quite a lot of money in the computer business, so I thought, well, you know, I'll get things done properly, I'll get the engine installed, pay someone to do it. You know, the people just let me down, let me down, let me down. And that's what's happening here. This guy says he'll do this, but it doesn't get done. Nothing gets done. And, you know, you don't know what's going on. He's just like thinking, scheming in his mind all the time, you know. How can he get more out of this guy, you know? So he's not your friend, really. So he acts like he's your friend, he's in the boat next to you, and you know, but he isn't really. What he's doing is you're the customer who can be fleeced. So I'm not going to get involved with these kind of people. And there are some other good people here who are the opposite, who will do anything for you, you know? So help you out in all sorts of ways. So just my comment on the state of the times, really. And anyway, I put this in yesterday. I have another one to put on still outside, and I need to, don't know why I haven't put that one on yet. This one's that one going now. I did find out that I cannot put the bigger iPad in here, and this is still open. I don't think you can go in there at all. So this one is just for the phone, and this is good because you can have one application running on the phone and another one running on, you know, your main navigation one running on the big one. You can have Windy or something else running on this one, and or you know, compass application will work on there. So that'd be quite nice too. So it's just an extra instrument, really, to have two iPad type devices, one spare two, ready to go if the other one has a problem. And you can see it's just wired straight into, so it can stay run all the time off the solar panel. And the same as the other one's another plug here, and that will simply go through the wall here. So this is why I haven't finished off here, because I need to make sure I drill all the holes necessary. This now go into the pod behind here, where the steering arrangement is, and so that can take all the electronics. So the AIS unit can go in there, and the aerial for the VHF unit and everything that can go. I need to get one of those that can go through the hole drilled in here into that unit. I'm going to mount VHF aerial on the side of that unit, so it's not so tall. And the mast can go over the top of it. So any problems with radio, you can deal to it, you know. It's not at the top of the mast on some stormy night. It seems like a really stupid thing to me. But, you know, it's more than likely you want to talk to people close at hand trying to rescue you, you know, looking for you within a few miles, and you don't need a mast aerial for that. There are many, many, many little jobs to do, and I have to pace myself every night. I suffer with a bad back, and in the morning it's healed again. It must just be the muscles reinvigorating themselves, and there's a healing process. But I'm hoping that the boat, I worked out maybe July is a good time to finish off here. You hear the wind. You can't do certain jobs on any particular day. You have to wait for sometimes for fine weather, so it's good to do if it's miserable weather outside, it's good to be working on the inside. So I've got a few jobs going on the inside. I've got the lining off, and some of the screws were corroded and they're not proper stainless and stuff like that, and so I've got a whole pack of stainless screws and the little finishing grommets, whatever they're called, washers, and I can put all nice new ones where they've been missing, and we'll just finish off things like that. I'm putting hooks in the front to hold the fishing rods in place, and you know, all these little jobs, they take time. It needs all cleaning out in there because there's got a little bit of white mold underneath the bunks there, you know, where it's all closed in. I need to pull everything out of there and wash it out. And this is probably a good job to do when we're stuck in here with the wind, which is supposed to be coming. It says here, thunderstorm warning today between 1300 and 2200, which is coming soon. It's a good little boat. You know, the more I work with the boat, the more I bond with the boat, and as I get jobs done, so it becomes more home, yeah. And on top of the paint work, I did find that the paint, I went over to Bow Morris, which is on the other side of the Menai Straits, and there's a place that sells chandlery over there. I thought, well, I'll go and see what they've got and what their prices are like, because sometimes places can be expensive. But I found that the paint that I needed to buy was cheaper over there, and it wasn't the cheapest on eBay. And they had what I was after, what I was using, they had it on special. And so I'm going to go over there possibly later today when my feet move and pick up what I need to do the bottom, and maybe a bit more deck paint, because I've only got a little bit of deck paint left, and I can see that the deck paint, if you get a bit messy on the deck there, I've already damaged my paintwork by when I put my windlass on the front. I did a bit of botching with sealant and all that, and had to clean up with some turps, and it just left a mess on the paintwork. So I'm going to have to paint over that again. So it's useful to have this blue colour. Can always quickly, you know, if you notice a bit gone bad, you can paint over it, and that way you can keep the paint from cracking and getting damaged further, and so preserve what you've got. It's not a big job to do a little bit of painting every now and again, and it makes you feel really good when the deck colour, this blue deck colour, is nice, looking nice. It really makes a difference to how you feel about the boat. And this morning I stuck you saw the name Sara of North Wales on it. It was a bit tricky. I'd never done it before with cut letters, but I managed to sort it out in the end. And very easy to make a mistake with it too. If you made a mistake, the wind blew over half of it and it got stuck to itself, you'd probably be in big trouble. So fortunately it all went according to plan. And the name came out a lot smaller than I thought it would, but it's nicer. I like it small because a small boat, small writing, it's more in keeping with the size of the boat, you know? And it's not that you need to read this thing from a distance. All you need is, you just want the name on it, that's all, so that when people are close up and say, ah, this is Sara of North Wales. So, that's about it for this little video log. I'm going to be here maybe another week. Then I want to go back to Hereford and order all the bits and pieces I need for the final session. Then come down here for a final session. Then I'm going to have to clear out what I've got, put everything in the car so that the boat is completely free of everything except what it needs to sail. Take the car back to Hereford and then come back on the coach probably. or pick Elizabeth up and come back on the coach together. We'll see what happens.